Rockin' Facts Daily presents 5 little-known facts about the band Ratt. Ratt is a heavy metal band that hails from Los Angeles, California. They started making music in the early 1980s and released their first LP in 1983, which helped in getting them signed with Atlantic Records. The classic lineup of the band and their respective instruments: Stephen Pearcy, lead vocals, Warren DeMartini, guitar, Robin Crosby, guitar sadly passing away in 2002, Juan Crucier, bass guitar, Bobby Blotzer, drums. Ratt is best known for their catchy hooks, blazing guitar solos, and energetic live performances. Their biggest hit is Round and Round, from their triple platinum debut album, Out of the Cellar. Following up with 3 platinum and 2 gold albums, one of which being a compilation, totaling over 18 million albums sold all over the world, and multiple arena tours of the 80s, making them one of the decade's best hard rocking bands. So now that you've had your brief introduction, here are 5 little-known facts about the band Ratt. Our first comes from Stephen's book, Sex, Drugs, RattNRoll, My Life in Rock. Once Ratt had achieved a degree of success, Stephen and Robin enjoyed renting villas at the famous West Hollywood Sunset Marquis Hotel for weeks on end. Famous for its rock and roll atmosphere, much like the Rainbow. You never knew who would be found at poolside. Robin found himself next to one of the longer-tenured guests, none other than world-famous comedian Rodney Dangerfield. Upon first impressions, Robin and Stephen annoyed Dangerfield with their heavy metal blasting and Robin's clothing selection, or lack thereof, which we will touch on later. But after apologizing and getting to know the comic during their morning Bloody Marys, Rodney soon warmed up to the pair of rockers, with Stephen remarking he partied just as hard as they did, with young attractive women and an abundance of alcohol and snortable party favors. Our second fact takes us back to the year 1982, a year before the release of their LP album, and 2 years before their breakout success. They were making some noise on the local scene, along with another up-and-coming band that would, roughly a decade later, venture into a more commercial sound and release a 16 times platinum self-titled album. Along with Ratt, Metallica contributed to the Metal Massacre compilation album put out by Metal Blade Records, meant to shed light on up-and-coming unsigned metal bands. Ratt contributed Tell the World, while Metallica contributed Hit the Lights for the release. Alongside the release, both bands played together at the Troubadour, as openers for the Scorpions at the Oakland Arena, and even at a local roller skating rink. Imagine couples skating to the dual guitars of James Hetfield and Dave Mustaine, who given the year was likely still with the band. Our third fact involves another mega-popular 80s band that in 1983 became one of the first hair bands to hit it big with their 4 times platinum album, Shout at the Devil. That band, of course, being Motley Crue. Nikki Sixx, Motley's bassist and chief songwriter, was the best friend of Robin Crosby. Nikki and Robin were especially close, with Robin even living with Nikki for a period of time, also mentioning Robin heavily in both The Heroin Diaries and Motley's autobiography, The Dirt. Robin had actually been out with Nikki the night of the overdose that had killed him, and inspired the song Kickstart My Heart. In an effort to keep this video from turning into 5 little-known facts about Robin Crosby, I now will give you 2 additional facts about Robin, to further feature other members of the band. Number 1. Anyone that clicked this video and made it this far would know that Robin dated model/actress Tawny Kitaen on and off, but Kitaen had another lover known to be extremely jealous of other men. Deathly jealous, in fact, O.J. Simpson, and aside from him warning Robin through others, it's rumored he called Robin personally and threatened to cut off his hands unless he quit dating Tawny. Number 2. As we alluded to earlier, Robin was well known amongst his circle to be a nudist, with many stories shared of his proclivity to be the most comfortable in his birthday suit. Winding down at number 4, Ratt was the first band to have a gold-selling commercial music video product. The video included music videos from their EP, Out of the Cellar, and Invasion of Your Privacy, as well as some footage of them interacting with fans while in Japan, where they also had a massive following. And closing out at number 5, Ratt has made notable appearances in both film and television over the years, with some of the more obvious features being The inclusion of body talk in the Eddie Murphy film The Golden Child, as well as references in animated shows such as King of the Hill and The Simpsons. My personal favorite being their 1991 single Nobody Rides for Free being included in the closing credits of the classic surf film Point Break. But the most surprising to me, and told to you in the form of a personal story, once while watching One Tree Hill with a former girlfriend, not by personal choice, the character named Peyton shares that she's been on a 80s metal kick, which of course perks my attention. It then shows her holding Ratt's Out of the Cellar, and she shares that it's outstanding. I began to laugh in disbelief, while my girlfriend stares at me, not understanding the humor of the situation. I was not expecting one of my favorite bands, an 80s hair metal band at that, to be mentioned on a coming-of-age teen drama series, in what proves to be the ultimate ironic twist many years later after we had broken up. I am celebrating a friend's birthday at Hero's Sushi Bar in Wilmington, North Carolina, where One Tree Hill was primarily filmed. As we are being seated, I immediately notice that sitting right by us is none other than Jeffrey Dean Morgan, whom I immediately recognize as Sam and Dean's father on one of my favorite shows, Supernatural. I excitedly tell my friend who that is, and she grabs my arm in disbelief and says, "Do you know who that is sitting next to her?" I look and recognize her, but cannot place her immediately. She tells me, "Peyton from One Tree Hill," the two being married. It immediately clicks in my head. I suddenly remember her as the pretty blonde holding the Ratt album. After not speaking for a period of time, I actually reach out and let my ex-girlfriend know I had met, or exchanged hellos, with Peyton from One Tree Hill. After debating in my head, I ask her if she remembers me randomly laughing at her grabbing that album. To my surprise, she says yes, and that she just figured I thought that band sucked. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this list. Subscribe for more rockin' videos. See you next time.